Eric, first of all, welcome to Talking Pictures. I have wanted to have an interview with you for a long, long time, and I'm so glad this opportunity cropped up.
Excuse me, I like see you have Eric and Eliza there, so let me turn this so you can turn this picture. Come on, Eliza.
Okay, I didn't even realize that.
We're doing a double.
Oh, we're doing, okay, all right. Here we go. I'm already recording.
Hi, Eliza. How are you?
Great. How are you?
You look amazing as well, and what a lucky couple.
Thank you. Holding up.
Eric, I want to get started. When did you get the acting bug? Was it at a very early age?
I did my first play when I was 4 years old. It was a Christmas play called Toys for Tots, and I played a new clown. And for those of you who live in Atlanta, Georgia, it was at the Lenox Square Mall. That was my first play, and I actually started acting as speech therapy because I had a terrible stutter as a child, and I found out on my own that if I memorized stuff, I didn't stutter, and so that's how it started. Then I got good at it. Then I started to have really fun at it. Then I got really good at it. And that's what I've done my whole life.
And you kind of do all of it. I mean, you do voice work, you're on camera, you've produced a few things. What hat do you like to wear?
I'm lucky enough that I'm asked to act all the time. And that's my first love. In fact, that's what I love more than anything in the world, except her, is acting. And in fact, in 1993, my wife said to me, if you could do anything every day of your life, Eric, what would it be? I said, well, I'd be on a movie set. She said, well, that's not going to happen. Then 2003 comes, and between 2003 and 2015, we slowly got up to like 8, 10, or 12 offers every day from all over the world because everybody was buying their own cameras. So everybody's making their own movies. When they took film, they made making films affordable. So that's what happened. So then I started doing this in insane amount of movies all over the world.
But it's not just about that. I mean, you're a good, solid actor. I mean, I enjoy just about every performance you've ever done in film, and you do solid work.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
But learning to do this, I mean, you coming from that little, 4-year-old kid in Georgia, and growing up, you had to learn set etiquette. You had to learn all of that. And how was that? I mean, was it hard?
I'll be honest with you. When you come into the movie industry as a star in your first movie, you think you're not aware of that stuff because everybody treats you in a very special way, and you're kind of unapproachable, to everybody. You don't realize that because you're in it. But it was only really when I was, well into my 30s, maybe not long before Eliza came into my life 30 years ago that I realized, oh, this isn't all about me. This is about a movie, and the movie's bigger than all of us, and we have to act accordingly. And I was raised in the industry in a very spoiled way, so I didn't get unspoiled up till I became a grown-up, and then I realized, wow, this isn't all about me.
And speaking of films, I mean that you've been in. I mean, I do want to mention a couple because I have a lot of students of mine that watch the show and watch these interviews as well as on ABC and everything, but there are some performances that you have that are just amazing, like in Raggedy Man. That is just a beautiful, beautiful film.
Thank you so much. I like that portrayal because I played my best friend who I grew up with. I took what he is and lifted him and put him with that dialogue. And so his name is Erwin William White III. He lives in Atlanta, Georgia. And that's who I played in Raggedy Man. Yeah, thank you.
Well, I mean, we have now this ability to revisit these films, on streaming platforms all over. And at the time that was released, it the critics went wild over it. It was one of the best films of that year. And again, what a performance.
Well, Jack Fisk does not get enough credit. He is a magnificent director, and they took that film away from him. And actually, from my exit to the end of the film, they re-edited it, and they made it kind of a horror movie, the last like 15 minutes of it. And that was not Jack's movie. Yeah. Jack's movie was an incredible little classic film about a country town and a country girl with a past, and it was incredible. And they kind of amped it up into kind of a booger movie ending, which always bothered me, because I saw a screening that there was Jack's cut, and it was magnificent.
I wonder if that version is around somewhere.
I have no idea. I bet not, but I don't know what I'm talking about.
You know, when you're dealing with studios, you're dealing with people sitting around a table and who have no idea how acting or credibility works, and they just like to change things. So, but still, your performance in that is head over. And not since Shark Octopus is there an Eric Roberts performance. Never mind. I was.
Octopus is going to be a classic, buddy.
I think so. It is a tongue-in-cheek, fun little movie, and obviously you had a ball doing it.
It was fun to make, yeah.
We'll talk a little bit about Inside the Ring, because again, you play everyone you hate in Hollywood. You kind of sum up what movie producers are.
Well, I've had lots of movie producers, and that is about a dozen of them who I know well. All I put into one. And they do have a sense of humor about themselves usually, though. That is their saving grace. And so that's what I was playing.
How is it working with Aaron? He's a very interesting and meticulous kind of director.
Aaron is a bit of a genius. Aaron is manic. Aaron is devoted. Aaron is driven. And Aaron, as I said, is a bit of a genius. So you have this guy who's making this movie about a very valuable subject, in that we have a society now that's riddled with everybody on psychotropics, and have been for the past 15 years. I mean, it's a whole generation now are on these drugs because they have issues, from bipolar, whatever it is, and they have issues, and they look for relief. So we have a whole generation that this is an untalked about, undiscussed, unshared issue that he decided he was going to make a movie about, so people will talk about.
Yeah, he put himself on the line. I mean, he's a very private individual, I gather. But in doing this, I think it was a therapeutic event for him.
Of course it was, yeah. And he charges. He went right at the issue, and I got to give him credit, because when I read the script, because I have two script readers, and I was told you got to read this one, and so when I read the script, I was impressed with the courage it takes to just tackle this issue head on without being silly. Because it's hard. Because when you deal with extremes, either wonderful to watch or they're uncomfortable to watch.
Yeah.
So it's a fine line.
And he did very well in providing us with a comedy that it's awkward in a very beautiful way, and we learned to love this character.
I love how you said that. Thank you. Yeah, it's awkward in a beautiful way. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the authenticity that makes it a little awkward. And the same with him being meticulous. That's such a good word for him, Tony, because, you know, there's a lot of OCD features in his condition, and those come into play all the time. I know because we work on auditions for him for other projects, and he, you know, does it over and over and over to get it right, and he can get kind of hung up on any little detail. What we really hope for him is that if he does come in to read for other parts, that people also see Inside the Rain, because you have to see what he's really capable of, because auditioning is so different from doing an actual performance.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, you don't want his talent to get lost in that other process. Because look what he accomplished here. It's amazing. Rosie Perez feels the same way. She really believes in him.
I cannot tell you how much I appreciate Ellen Toland's performance in this, because I had an interview with Ellen, and she is 180 degrees from the character that she plays, you know, in this. So what a brilliant actress she's going to be. She's up and coming.
Yes, absolutely. And that was a real discovery, because there were several people interested in that part. There were a lot of ways they could go in the casting of that. And I think the choice of Ellen was really touched with genius. That was so good for the film and for her.
Eric, as we kind of wind this down a little bit, what advice do you have for young up and coming actors who, you know, there's a lot of no in auditions. I mean, I once was told that actors are professional auditioners, and when you get a role, that's just candy.
That's exactly true.
That's a great way to say it. Who was it who said, for this moment in time, I get to
Charles Durning.
Charles Durning had a great line. He was saying, you know, we have to go through the process a lot. And, you know, I became a star that I didn't have to audition. Then the whole industry changed, and then everybody's like, Eric who? So I had to audition again. So it's just the cycle. So the way you have to look at it, bless Charles Durning's heart, is what Charles Durning said. This is my 15 minutes to shine. And you step in and you shine. And when you shine, you know you're shining. And when you shine, they know you're shining. So when you shine, it will be seen. And in the words of Charles Durning, here's my 15 minutes. Watch this.
Charles was a great actor, just absolutely.
Great guy too. Lovely man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, you know, coming up through all of the stuff that you've come up through, and now gleaning this type of, you know, success, because you are on everybody's list of people we want to work with and hire. Is there somebody you want to work with that you haven't worked with in your whole career?
Well, if I name 2 people, I will leave out 5. So let me throw just one at you very quickly. Soderbergh. I want to work for Soderbergh. I will do anything he'd like me to.
He's a genius, and
Wow.
he's doing more and more with cell phone camera work.
Yeah.
He's pioneering that. Him and Jeffrey Katzenberg are teaming up for something on their new thing, Quibi, and these 5 or 10 minute episodic movies. They're just geniuses, and they kind of look at the future and say, "Here, well, people are just going to be in the bathroom watching episodes of movies." It's going back to that. Any movies you'd like to do over?
What a question. I don't think I've ever been asked that. Any movies I'd like to do over? Gosh. Wow. Wow, what an opportunity. Wouldn't that be cool? Let's see. I think maybe well, you know, I have a story for you about a do-over. I made a movie, which I will leave nameless unless she tells me not to, that I said to the director and the writer, same guy. I said, "Oh, this would be funny if I have a French accent." He said, "Okay, do it." So the whole thing was very French, the whole movie. And then I saw a screening of it. It was so bad. I said, no, I can't go out as that. I have to loop the whole thing in English now. So I looped the whole movie. So that's a do-over for you. But you know what? I think I've been so devoted to all my work that a do-over is like it would be so different. It would not be a do-over, it would be a do another. Because I get so dedicated to my portrayals.
Yeah.
And
that's an amazing way to end this, because you know, you have this incredible body of work. You know, once it's all said and done, it's over 500, you know, acting jobs, 570, almost 600 acting jobs you've performed. I counted them. And you look at each other, but yeah, it's an impressive amount of work. And to be able to walk away from that and say, you did your best on everything, and it shows.
Thank you.
Yeah. And you've got a great team at home, over 30 years together.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's incredible. I mean, in Hollywood where everything's instant, it goes and comes.
You know what'll make it work is you have to take your wife with you on location, because we travel a lot, and that's what happens in show business. You are away from each other, and when you're recognizable, you're offered many things you should not be offered. And you learn to say, oops, no, thank you. But
my wife and I have celebrated 33 years together, and she's the one that keeps me grounded. She reminds me, not to believe any press, or treatment. They put us up at the Four Seasons, and there's a moment where you think you belong there, but you really don't. Anyway, so I appreciate all of this. By the way, you do a lot of voice work, don't you?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
My aunt was June Foray.
Wow, I know June Foray. Yeah.
And she passed away just a couple of years ago. She was 98.
Wow.
She passed away, but I remember that she had said that you had worked with her at one time.
We did a stage reading together, and then also something else. What else did we do together?
I'm not sure. I got to look it up.
But we did stage reading for somebody, because I remember hanging out with her in this empty room, and she was delightful.
She was like 4'5" or something, and just a powerhouse. She dated Humphrey Bogart. I could never get over that. She dated Humphrey Bogart.
Wow. And so I take it that was before Lauren.
Yeah. Well,
Lauren would be almost 90 now.
Yeah.
Right?
I worked with Lauren on Applause at the Dorothy Chandler Pavilion.
Wow, dude, how cool.
I'm an old man, Eric. I've been around. So there. Anyway, again, a pleasure talking to you. Come back out to Utah. I know you're out here for Touched by an Angel, and you're out here for Sundance once in a while, but come back out.
Okay.
Oh, well.
I'd love to take you out for coffee or something.
Thank you. Love the invite.
All right. Well, listen, the interview was over a while ago, but I appreciate your time, and I'll let Jeff know. Yeah, he's right. You are the best interview anyone could have.
Thank you, buddy.
This is fun.
Bye. Peace.